So we've talked about the 6 billion people on the planet, and I have talked about the bottom billion being the poorest of the poor and $1 a day, that they're earning 70 cents of that dollar on food. Then almost 3 billion people, or half the world's population, living on $2 a day, which you've learned. Now let's shift gears a bit. Let's move up to the top of the 6 billion. So the top 1.5 billion in this case, they receive 75% of the world's income. So the top 1.5 billion, almost 3/4 of the world's income. And most of those people live in the first world, of course, and most of them live in the US specifically. There was an exercise done a while ago called the Global Village, taking the entire world's population and bringing it down to 100 people. Just think of a village of 100 people that would be representative of everyone in the world. So 57 Asians, 21 Europeans. Half and half, as you would expect, would be female, half would be male. 70 would be non-white, and only 30 would be Caucasian or white. And 6 people would possess 59% of the entire world's wealth, and all of these people, out of the 100, 6 of them, all of them would be from the USA. Not the first world, not Europe, not another rich country, but all in the US, almost 60% of the world's wealth. 80 would live in substandard housing. 70 would be unable to read and write, so 70 out of the 100 would be illiterate, and 50%, 50, would suffer from some sort of malnutrition. 50% of the world's population malnourished in some way. One person would be near death, one would be a newborn, and one person would have access to a college education. Stay with me. One person, so 1%. 4-year education, that's college education, a 4-year degree, which is in the US, a bachelor's degree, BS, BA, 4 years. And that one person is most likely going to be a male. Because those of you who are female out there, you are a minuscule percentage overall. Again, because it's mainly men, historically, who have been able to aspire and get through that 4-year college education for the reasons that you've learned about in this class. The reason I'm mentioning this is that I want you to think now in terms of the privileged position that you have in the world, being among that 1% of the world's population. Think of that knowledge, this education that you have generally, but specifically about world hunger and poverty now. I don't care if you're studying to be an engineer, a business major, liberal arts, you're an agriculture major. I hope that you have thought of the role that you can play now as an active advocate on behalf of the hungry poor, the most vulnerable, in your chosen profession. You are now going through college. There's a reason that you're there, going after your 4-year degree, perhaps a master's degree after that, perhaps degrees after that. You have a plan, whatever your chosen career. Hopefully this class will have given you some pause for thought. What contribution can you make in your future, in your chosen line of work that will help to end world hunger? This is the way we will end world hunger, is by having all of us individually commit to doing so and working as a team, looking at all the various options, looking at all the various interventions that work, what does work, and coming together and collectively saying, this is unacceptable. This is not the world that I want to live in. This is not the world that I want to bring children into, and that I want to leave my children, and that they should inherit this. We should fix this now, before it gets worse, and before we get to a time like the middle of this century now, 2050, where we will have a much higher world population and no longer have enough food to feed everyone.